Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Endless Legend, where today we're starting a new game as the Necrophages, and I suspect this is going to go down just a little bit differently than the one we just played. A hive people that survive by ingesting or converting others as they infect them with their plague, the Necrophages are scavengers and survivors, always hungry and always hostile. They are viewed as a scourge by other peoples. And it should probably note correctly, they are correctly viewed as a scourge by other peoples. You do not want to have necrophages on your border. So our central idea here, our affinity trait, is that every time a unit dies in a battle that we are part of, our unit or an enemy unit, it turns into a resource for us, a cadaver that we then drag back to our city, and once we stack up 8 cadavers, they turn into a recycled stockpile, which is a resource that we can spend for an immediate food boost. Thus, necrophages, right? This combines with the fact that we are agriculturally challenged. We get 1 less food from each terrain tile, to mean that, especially in the early game before the food buildings really kick in, if we want to be growing, we have to be killing. Always. Our Dust Eclipse effect is during the eclipse, and whenever we spend a recycled stockpile in a city, we get a Battleborn unit, and also combat yields twice the cadavers. Battleborn are pretty powerful, and they're definitely, they're impressively powerful compared to early game units. So, managing these early game stockpiles and making sure we get some Battleborn during the first eclipse can be a really huge power boost. We have decreased district costs. We can build out new districts at a much cheaper price. We get +2 food per citizen working on food for each minor faction village in the region. And you probably don't have to think very hard to imagine how that works. We get +5% health regeneration, which might sound like a pretty small bonus, but it does not mean +5% of the normal regen rate. It means +5% of a unit's max HP. Every turn. It's actually quite a large amount of bonus regen. We cannot be at peace with any other player. We cannot form alliances with any other player. The diplomatic technologies are not even in our tech wheels. We can never bribe or talk to a minor faction. We have 2 modes of interaction. Kill, and then eat. Again, it's pretty straightforward. We kind of have one deal. And finally, the Will of the Hive gives us +10% attack for each player that we are at war with. So, it will sometimes be beneficial to us, if we can spare the influence, to just declare war on someone who's far away and who is not going to retaliate in any way, just to get a little bit more combat strength on all of our military units, who will be constantly fighting. We'll talk about the unique techs and our units and stuff once we actually get in the game, but we get to start, every faction gets to start with 2 technologies unlocked already. We get to start with the Alchemist Furnace, so we can start building weapons and armor right away, and one of our additional military units. So we start with a larger, sort of a more diverse army available. Alright, here are the world settings that we're going to be using, probably, for most of the games for the rest of the series. We are playing on Impossible, that is difficulty 7 of 8. With the Endless Legend community patch, I think Impossible is quite difficult. I have never won a game on Endless, I don't think, with the community patch. Maybe we'll try. Maybe we'll see. For right now, let's play on Impossible, which is a place that I still lose games all the time. I think the game runs really well at 6 players, both in terms of mechanics and also in terms of it not just like crashing all the time in the late game. And I like to go with a very random world gen setting, so I'll flip in here just because people ask sometimes. Because of the 4 X's, my favorite is exploration. That's the one that's the most fun. This gives you like a very strong mechanical incentive to look around and try to understand what is going on in the world. If you use more static world gen settings, you can kind of like have a sense of like how valuable is the ocean going to be, how big is my continent probably. This way, we have no idea what's going on, we need to get intelligence, and it means that we have to remain flexible strategically. We can't just, like, stick to one kind of opening, because, you know, your terrain matters a lot for what your viable options are. All the world difficulty stuff is pretty normal. I like to make sure that there are going to be at least some rivers in the topography section and some volcanic regions, just because I think those things add, first of all, a little bit of variety to the landmass, and secondly, while some of the water stuff that can happen over here can sometimes disadvantage the Morgar a little bit, I find that they can still be perfectly competitive as long as they have some rivers and some coastline. And the same deal with the Kapaku. They just need like a few volcanic regions to make sure that they're cool and in the game. So, 5 random opponents, and here we come to devour them all. The loading screen here, again, really reinforces the difference between the ideal situation for the Wild Walkers and the ideal situation for the Necrophages. This lovely friend right here is, I can't remember what it's called, but it's our last military unit, and we will definitely be racing toward these as quickly as we can. Because boy, are they powerful. And gross. Powerful and gross. That's kind of our whole deal. So, like I said, we always want to be fighting, but we're not necessarily going to be able to just go to war with the first other player faction that we see, for a number of reasons. On Impossible, the AI gets a pretty solid head start on you, generally, and also, like, diplomatic resources, right? Influence, the influence to declare war, is not that easy to come by. So in the early game, we're going to be doing a lot of, like, neutral fighting and stuff. We will be on the lookout for our first opportunity to consume a player, but it can sometimes be a little tricky. And, of course, probably it's already pretty obvious to you, military play is not, like, my immediate, intuitive go-to. So sometimes I'm still a little iffy on targeting and picking my moments here. I tend to be a much more internal player. So what I'm saying is I'm trying to sort of pre-build the excuses here. We might get run over once or twice as the Necrophages before I find my groove. Or before we successfully carve our groove into our neighbors.
The colony was everything. They were born as one. They fought as one. And they died as one. Driven by their hunger. But I hunted for something more. I stole the sentience of an ancient power and saw a greater purpose. For we were the first. Auriga is our planet. And I will turn our hunger against those trespassers who would take it from us. One day we will reign supreme on Auriga. And we will gaze up at the stars. Still hungry.
You know, because we're the good guys in this story. So yeah, you know, listen, if you're going to play a faction that is this comically evil, I guess you have to lean into it a little bit. So, we've already met another player. Because this game, we have a Draken. One of the Draken traits is that they are aware of every other player immediately at the beginning of the game. They know where you start, and they have diplomacy options with you. We don't get a lot of information about them, sadly. But we know they're around, at least. So, let's take a quick look at our units here. Our basic combat unit, the Forager, is honestly not very good. They're fine. I don't mean to say they're bad, but they're like... I would argue the Forager's like solidly mediocre. However, they're very cheap to build, and they have some tricks. So you can see 31 attack, 38 defense. It's fairly tough, but, you know, they have shields equipped. 24 base damage, not very impressive, just kind of like squishy. But, like all Necrophage units, they have the disease. So whenever a Necrophage unit attacks another unit, it puts the disease on them. And the disease will deal damage to the other unit equal to 10% of its max HP at the beginning of each round. And a unit that dies with the disease will pulse it onto all adjacent units. Now, all of our units are immune to the disease. All of our Necrophage units, I should say, are immune to the disease. But this is a thing we'll have to be a little bit careful with in terms of recruiting other factions, like minor faction units, into our army, or getting combat heroes of other factions, because they may not be. And then, of course, Block and Sharp Sense, because we're equipped with a shield, and Range Slayer, because we're equipped with an axe. We could move them to Claws if we wanted to. We talked about these a little bit with the demons last time. But obviously, at the moment, we don't have the resources to be re-equipping anybody. The other unit that we have unlocked already here, and automatically, is the Necro Drone. So 144 industry, twice the base price of a forager. But it's a 6-speed flying unit with 48 attack and 46 base damage. So much, much, much better at killing. Unfortunately, like 144 industry is really a lot at this point in the game, so I don't know how many of those we'll be making. But man, it sure is nice when you can get a full army of Necro Drones and they can just report to anywhere in the world on like 2 turns notice. Let's open up by searching a ruin here. If you find ruins before you've settled a city, you should definitely always search them first. So you always look around for more as well. Because there are a couple of things that you can find prior to settling your first city that can make give you a little power boost right away. Let's have you scout up here. Okay, so our minor faction in our initial region here is the Magte. The Magte were added to the game pretty late, and I have to admit I don't have a good sense of how powerful their unit is. I think it's an archer of some kind. So that might be good for us. We're pretty naturally good against archers. We could just jump them. We should probably like at least consider putting down our settler first. And then, like, there's a question here, right? Of do we have our hero run over and grab this ruin? I think I'm not going to. I think I'm going to have our hero go that way. Well, bummer. The XP on the hero would have been nice, but you know what else is nice? Information. Alright, so I am going to disconnect the hero from the settler so that we can do this and just not include the settler as an army. So yeah, the Magte unit, 29 attack, 18 base damage, disease immunity, and they in fact have the disease themselves. That's interesting. Did they get to spread the disease with their ranged attack? I guess they must, because we have a unit that can do that too. That might make them a good addition to our team, actually. Alright, let's get in here and generate some cadavers, shall we? So they are 3 range, and they have relatively high initiative. And 2 combat movements, so if we just start, like, back here, yeah. We'll be safe enough, and then we'll rush them. I was really hoping the hero was going to spawn here. Okay, not an amazing start. Alright, try to maximize surface contact. You know, keep my units close to each other for the morale bonus, and get up in their face to damage their morale. There we go. And then it's good to use the trees against them where we can. It's a real shame they're not diseased, because that's, you know, we rely on the disease for a lot of our early game damage. The fact that all of our units start equipped with axes, so we have bonus damage against ranged, is certainly nice, though. Alright, there we go. Couple of cadavers on the pile. Huh, we got 4? Oh, you know what? I think burning a village is worth bonus cadavers. That's an ELCP change that I think was in a recent... I saw it in the patch notes. And then forgot about it promptly, apparently. Alright, so what have we over here? Over here we have a village of haunts. Haunts are a little bit tougher. I don't know that I'm so eager to jump them. Over here we saw, eyeless ones. Eyeless ones are very easy to eat. And over here we have Yotus who are a little tougher. Okay, interesting. So you can see a lot of the tiles in these sort of grassland areas are just going to feel kind of weak for us, right? Because of the fact that we're agriculturally challenged, we're only getting 2 points of resources from each of these. It feels pretty bad. That said, we do here have some steppe soil, which not only gives a very significant amount of food, but also has +10 approval. When you found your initial city, your city's base approval is going to be 60, which is right at the top end of no bonuses. If you settle near a plus approval anomaly, you immediately jump up to happy and get plus 15% everything. So do that. My advice to you is do that. I think we're going to go right here. It gives us access to the water, although this is just a lake, not an ocean. You can tell from the inland waters. You don't necessarily have to start in your initial region, and there definitely are some interesting things out here. This is one of those beautiful life trees. But I really don't think it's a good idea to delay settling past the first turn if you don't absolutely have to. There is, we should note, also chromatic land here and moss pearls. And settling right there gets you a lot of resources for sure, but it doesn't get you that bonus approval. It's actually another chromatic land. We have a lot of anomalies in our starting territory. So here we have 11 food, 8 industry with the bonus approval versus 9377 or 11375. So a lot more science and dust over here, but this is higher on the more important early resources of food and industry, and then on top of that, approval. So pretty good stuff. The Magte have been have been pacified. They are willing to join us. They give plus 10% fortification for each pacified Magte village. Interesting. And an archer unit that I don't know. I think is okay. They might be worth picking up. All right, we'll go ahead and turn this off for the moment. So let's probably start with our Founders Memorial. We could try to power out a Forager real fast, but I think that is perhaps a little foolish. We have important things to do. I am honestly thinking we'll just run all of our units down in this direction and burn down that Eyeless One's village. So we could try to research cultivation. Our science output is pretty bad right now, so I think let's lean in this direction instead. My concern is that we would not finish researching cultivation and then building the seed storage until summer was basically over already anyway. Yeah, and then let's go. So, the character we are playing for this faction quest, in that opening cinematic mentioned having basically stolen the sentience of an ancient thing. I think the idea is, used to just be a bug man, but somehow got into some endless stuff, and now has much more intelligence and much more ambition than most of the bugs. And so, things are getting a little weird for us. Unease riddles the nest. I can feel it everywhere. In the hurried footfalls in the tunnels, in the huddling, in the lingering in the fungal gardens. They doubt me. The sifters, the burrowers, the soldiers, even the blasted groomers, get off! They all doubt me, and their doubt seeps into my chitin. I sit in my lair, fretting, while above hind legs grow bolder, nipping and harrying and slicing at our tracks. Enough! I must erase these doubts. But how? Doubts bite deeper than any jaws. Security, yes. Above all, I must ensure this region holds no threats for my brood. Otherwise they will come, fighters in leather and steel, with claws and weapons, to tear apart our fragile young. We will attack the hind legs, teach them that this place is ours, that we will not be driven out, be pushed away. They'll stab and slice us, but the price will be worth it. My brood will survive, my brood will gain confidence, and we will grow. So, somewhere, there's a region called Vedra that is adjacent to our starting region. There are Ursus villages there. We must do the thing upon them. Not great. Ursus are a little bit tougher to fight in melee combat. They're relatively tough and competent. We're not going to be able to get to this turn. I'm trying to select that burned down village. Do we want to just hop Feeds on Bones back over here? I'll tell you what. We'll have Feeds on Bones run over for the purpose of searching the ruin, while you run down here, and this will allow us to participate in the battle. This is not the thing we're supposed to be doing, but it is a thing we can definitely do. And honestly, I don't think we're going to need all 3 of our units to to bust up some eyeless ones, so you're just going to go and do a little bit more looking around. Okay, over here we have Boss, the Centaur people. Again, not necessarily an easy target. Alright, let's chomp them. This should be no problem at all. So, the Kekator of the Eyeless Ones is, first of all, an extremely cool-looking unit. Secondly, very poor attack, very poor damage, not very good defense. Their whole deal is that they can heal, and when they attack, they automatically heal themselves and adjacent allies. They can be really cool if you get some gear on them and level them up. In their base state, they are one of the worst units in the game. I almost said the worst, but there are definitely... There are some really crummy units in the game. And these ones are not immune to our disease. So you can see them firing healing onto each other. Let's not move into the lava. That's my big plan. So again, stay in formation to gain morale. The Kekators have a ranged attack, and as such, they suffer from the minus morale from being adjacent to people. And our hero really wants to just run over here and stand in the lava. Go around. Go around. Wasn't expecting that. Don't stand in the lava. What's wrong with you? Okay, easy enough. Took a little bit more damage than I would have liked there on account of the lava. So another 4 cadavers means that we are already on a stockpile. But I think... I'm torn on that, actually. Because, like, it's 120 food. It's almost 10 turns worth of food. It would be a big deal to gain that population right now. But also, if we save it until the eclipse, we'll get that Battleborn out of it. And that is a serious combat resource. Unfortunately, we have no idea how long the eclipse will be, and it is sometimes the case that you do not get an eclipse before the first winter. Not usually, but it does happen. I'm going to go ahead and fire this first one right now. We're going to get more, but I want the food boost. And since we definitely don't need to leave you on food to get the next population point, let's go ahead and put some work into this thing. Oh, you know what I didn't do? We should look at the legendary deeds real quick here. Alright, up to 3 population. Pretty handy. What are our legendary deeds? Be the first to pacify 8 villages in order to gain the reward. You know, it's not impossible. We might actually pull that off. Here, be the first to gather at least 30 units of 1 luxury resource to get 130 gold. That would be okay. I would not be upset about that. So Yotus, huh? We might be able to take them, maybe. I like to fan out a little bit for information with the Necrophages still, but like as you can see, generally I try to stay a little closer than I do with some of the other factions, just to be able to jump up on people. Ooh, Gelderis are tough. Gelderis can definitely kill your units. I don't think I feel like attacking here. I mean, it's very good to fight, obviously. I don't think they'll get the other village as reinforcements. But this might be pushing it. How badly wounded are you? Pretty badly wounded. Then again, Feeds on Bones is like a terrifying combat monster. I think we can take him. And I'm gonna leave the really wounded guy out of it. Alright, so the Tentacates have a couple of big advantages, a couple of big things going in their favor. They have an unusually short attack, but they have True Sight, which is pretty cool. And they also have free counters. So they're going to get to shoot us with a ranged attack, and then we're going to run up and punch them, and they're going to get to punch back. Not a huge fan of that. That said, Feeds on Bones is terrifying. I think I'm going to try to run around this side of them so that I can attack from over here. And you need to run up as fast as you can, I guess. Oh, right, they're going to move forward because they have to. Alright, yeah, let's try to be in not so far back of a position, or not lower ground than they're on. Man, they're doing a lot of damage. Yep, I got a little over aggressive. Okay. Fairly embarrassing. 65 dust to get him back. Yeah, that sucks. The good news is 65 dust will happen pretty quickly. Slightly overestimated my my combat ability there. Okay, keep focusing on food. That memorial will get done. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave the ruins intact for our hero, because he's pretty close to a level up. We're just going to keep looking around in the regions adjacent to Selimar. Alright, so we can definitely restore. You know what? I'm going to actually just pop him into control of this army, because I want him over here. This is where all those ruins are. Okay, once again, found nothing. We're getting some pretty bad luck on that. So we're going to head up the class tree here and use this hero as a combat unit. Probably not a big surprise. And gosh, our research is bad. Obviously, the Founders Memorial helps tremendously. Okay, here's purple. Yeah, it's a little rough. The situation we find ourselves in here is a bad one for sure. Missing out on ruin rewards from 2 of the first 3 ruins we searched, plus buying back the hero, is definitely going to put us on the back foot, economically speaking. And I sort of want to make more military units, but man, it is expensive to do so. Expensive and slow. Titanium extractor, honestly, not much faster. We can rebuild the Magte village, which obviously will give us +1 population. I'm just going to try to pump out another unit or 2 really quickly here. Let's hope that these ruins have some slightly more enticing rewards in them. We're seeing a lot of interesting terrain around here. Okay, 10 die early on. That's interesting. I think we probably will not fire that right away. We are definitely going to need help with our science. Okay, Mill Foundry, highest possible priority. City is too bad at building things. Here, let's grab this first and then come back, I think. So that's a Gorin village. Not ideal for us. You're always looking for the minor factions that are vulnerable to bullying, especially melee-type bullying. Got some temple ruins over here, which is good news. Okay, gold. Interesting. So, we don't actually get any benefit from... Well, we don't actually get much benefit from firing the dies right now, because we're at an approval level where +5 approval doesn't change us, it doesn't get us over a threshold, and we're only producing 2 influence per turn. Feels like a bit of a waste to use the die. The gold is also probably not worth Not worth using just yet. I think we will hold on to these things. So we got to remember, temple ruins up here. So when the eclipse hits, this will be a good area to still have a unit. Do I want to just... Oh, never mind. I was going to say, do we want to just buy the rest of the time off this mill foundry? Because it seems like we should be able to, but apparently we cannot quite. Ah, there are enough engravings and diagrams around this ruin that even an idiot could understand it. Somewhere in this region, an enormous chunk of glass steel contains a beautifully forged weapon. Only the cleverest among you, however, figured out that this was the work of a smith who thought he could kill the demons in his mind by stabbing a large block of glass steel. Apparently, even the ancient peoples of the planet were given to flights of madness, so, don't feel too bad if you're having one of those days. So we'd have to take over the region first, but doing so will give us a lot of strategics that we can use to all sorts of ill ends. That's another boss village there. So the region for our faction quest must be over this way somewhere. Well, we will go find it. I am not going to just jump these boss. We will knock out some more minor faction villages, though, on the way back around. If the bows were close enough that we were going to be able to use our garrison against them, our militia, then obviously that would be pretty compelling. Alright, if I move people off of industry, it does add a turn. Okay, we gotta keep almost everybody over there. Five turns off of finishing our library. I mean, there's certainly an argument to just, move everybody over to science, right? We do need to push population, though. If I move everybody to science, we get public library in one. You know what? Alright. I'm going to do that. We're going to finish the forager, get the library tech, and then just start building a library right away. So, we have a quest to colonize this region. It has wine and 3 Bose villages, which is actually pretty interesting. We probably do want to get that, and relatively soon. Can we see any structures here? Ah, I think that's Kapaku architecture there. Not necessarily the most aggressive neighbor in the world. It might be a pretty good one for our purposes. So let's definitely get a library up. Again, we're probably moving a little bit slowly to go for cultivation. We could, of course, sewer system ourselves up to the fervent threshold. It's not a bad idea. Oh wait, I left everybody on science, didn't I? I didn't mean to do that. I meant to do this. Get back over here. Produce bodies. That's a really inconvenient place. So remember, keeping more units under our hero's command will keep our hero's level rising quickly, and of course all the fighting. All the fighting will do something for that as well. So what is this? A village of haunts? I mean, they'll be easy enough to take out with all of the units right here. Ah, and now it is eclipse time. The eclipse is coming, so... Let's not do the fight right now, because we get double cadavers from combat during the eclipse. So we'll just hang out for a moment on that. And... we could just build the burrow, I suppose. It would drop our approval by 10, but then we could use the luxuries to get it back up. And it gets us the district. It gets us the extractor at the same time. So that would be handy. How much would it be to get a Necro Drone out? 7 turns? Too long. Let's just create some more foragers real quick. We should be running around with, at the very least, with a full stack. Okay. Let's go ahead and have at you. Of course, we get the city militia and everything. This shouldn't be too hard, even though haunts are actually pretty dangerous units. Worth noting, they are disease immune. We're going to stand way back. You have 3 movement? 2. Okay. I want to let the militia do a lot of the fighting, if we can. Another thing that's worth noting here is that their chain lightning only fires on attacks, not on counterattacks. So we let them run forward and then we have at them is a pretty reasonable strategy. So you should probably go after that one. That's right. We actually have more initiative than they do. I'm not used to that. Stay back. Just use your initiative to be ready and kind of nearby. Actually, you go here. You can, like, stay put, actually. Clicking outside the battle instead of... Listen, it's hard to click on buttons. And you also don't want to move forward right now. So we let them run up. We let the militia do the thing here. Alright, and now rush in, surround them, and tear them to pieces. It is a shame our hero's initiative is below the foragers. I'm gonna have both the foragers fall back. Don't take any more damage. We've got this. There we go. I'd much rather take that damage on the hero. Alright. 6 quick cadavers, no big deal. Fire one of those and get us a Battleborn. So, do we want to run the Battleborn over this way? I kind of think so. I think what we're gonna do is let's have the Battleborn run this way to try to get to these ruins while they're still active, because there's a big cluster of temple ruins, and we'll assign the hero to them in a moment. And for the moment, we'll just for the rest of the current moment, we will just continue to run around here. These haunts will be tougher to take out because we won't have the militia. So let's just explore this way first. We need to see the rest of our initial home region here as well. Okay, Ursus, here's our quest region. It would be nice to have a Necro Drone for this, just to fly around, but obviously it would be very, very cool to get it with the hero as well. And a quest has occurred. As a venerable and cautious race, rumor has it that the Dorgeshi have stockpiled vast mountains of resources in underground caverns beneath their villages. Okay, so if we assimilate the Dorgeshi before anybody else does, we will get a reward. That is unlikely to occur. So I'm not a big fan of these Ursus villages. Why'd it have to be Ursus? Why couldn't it be like Saratan? Alright, so next turn we grab that, and then we warp him over here and grab that. We're going to get a lot of XP really quickly. The question now is, do we go for this? And I kind of think no. Right now, Ursus hit very hard. They are mean creatures. Let's see, we don't have enough money to really benefit from hitting the mercenary market, but you know what? That might not be true after we search all these ruins. I'm going to hold off on this until we've sort of reunited our forces. We are going to continue to scout for the moment. Alright, 5 glass steel, that's fine. Let's have a quick look around. You are going to run over here. Oh, there's some boss spawning already. It's only turn 18. A little surprised by that. Also got 50 dust. There we go. That's a little bit more like what I was looking for. And yeah, let's just take plus life on units. So let's talk about this Battleborn here real quick. 45 attack, 34 damage. Of course, they've got the disease, they've got Sweep Strike back. because they are naturally equipped with claws. They're just better than foragers, like quite a bit better. I don't know if I love the idea of having to go to war with these dudes right at this second, but I don't think we're going to be able to avoid it, so... And we now have a full military here, worth of units. Goran's running around. Yep, and they're going to want to do the thing. So, let's build ourselves a sewer system. If we focus up, how quickly can we get that done? Only 2 turns, really? Well, that's not very good. How many bodies do I have to put over there to get that down to 2? Alright, that's a trade-off we can accept, I think. Oh, I forgot to search this ruin the second time before we popped our hero over. Let's arbitrarily look this way. Okay, so more Magte we found. Another 30 dust. Great news. We may actually end up being able to afford a hero. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit tougher. These, they're tough. They have free counter. Honestly, I might just retreat. Well, if we retreat, we're just going to have to fight these guys next turn, probably. This is actually, like, a really rough situation. Alright, we'll just win. We'll just win a fight, that's all. We don't really have a choice. So, they're fast, but they don't have any kind of charging-related skill, which usually you would expect a cavalry-type unit to have. They have 7 speeds. There's no version of this where I get to avoid getting attacked. I do have a lot more defense than they have attack, though. I think this is actually the right setup. And I would love it if y'all would focus on the same one. I did space on how this was going to work, because of course the one that gets to go first is the one we have to focus on. Alright, they're both diseased, so at this point all we have to do is survive. And we're doing a pretty okay job of that. For as tough as the boss can be, they really do not have a lot of damage output. Alright, it went better than I thought it was going to go. And 4 cadavers. I don't know if I feel up to fighting these Goran, and they have a conflux. They stepped on the square one. The square one's not the attack booster, is it? I don't remember. Could be bad. Could actually be bad for us. Now, usually they won't attack a thing that's not in their region. So let's see what they do. I'm going to let them use their movement up before we go anywhere. And I'm just going to take this thing for right now. Probably not a huge surprise. Alright. Continue to search. 70 dust. Good news. Yep, somebody else pacified 8 villages. We did slow down on that pretty dramatically. Guess let's do what we did last time. We'll grab this one first and then the other one. Alright, another 50 dust. We may well be able to afford a governor when that tech finishes. Which would be awfully nice. Here, let's finish scouting this area. Oh, hey, another one. Ah, damn it. Oh, hold on. Don't spend the movement then. Nope, I already pressed the button. Too late. Hey, it's some dredges who are definitely not from this region. Weird. I guess let's step over here and get a little bit more vision. Okay, so there's a titanium deposit that we didn't know about here. This would have been a good time to have been researching cultivation like the whole winter, but I was a little slow on that. Let's try to get a settler going here. We do need to expand. So do I want to warp our hero over there? That's not even available this turn, or for a couple of turns. You know what? I'll just search it and we'll keep moving. Okay, 30 dust. So, that's the wrong button. We've got access to the hero market. Unfortunately, heroes are already over 300 dust each. Well, we can try to get there. So cultivation's important. Empire Mint will also be important. And at this point, we have enough resources that it honestly might be worth... Or we have enough buildings that the gold might give us good value. I'm going to wait until we're close to settling our second city, though. So we can head off some of the expansion disapproval. Alright, so we need to get our hero back home, merge up with the rest of our units, and then get on our faction quest. Can I attack you? It's 2 dredges. Dredges are relatively high damage. Oh, interesting. Look at that. 2 tiles of Mutant Marsh. This is a very strong region. And a dye deposit? Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay. Is in fact winter time. So we can grab some pearls here. And this is the right time to be researching cultivation. I don't know, man. For some reason, when it went back to summer at the end of the eclipse for a turn, I was like, winter's over already. But that is not, in fact, the timing that we were at. So, like, we want to finish researching cultivation and then build the cultivation in such a way that it finishes construction right as summer begins again. Which probably is pretty sensible. I want to just go ahead and settle Revode, right? It's not aggressive, it doesn't block purple off at all. But Revode is a good region that we have a number of reasons to want to play with. So yeah, let's head you in that direction. And... is it time to put up the extractors? You know, it's probably time to rebuild the Magte village while we wait for cultivation to finish. Yeah. We'll rebuild that while we push to birth another point of population. And we do need to see about potentially killing some of Purple's stuff, stealing some of Purple's stuff via violence. We'll just merge up for a turn. That'll reduce the dust loss a little bit. I was really hoping we were going to get away with that that mercenary market search ruins into immediately getting a hero thing. But boy, they really bailed on us early. That was maybe the shortest eclipse I've ever seen. Alright, so we're going to merge back up. Somebody else did the Wealth Harvester, no big surprise there. The Urkins have emerged, and we are not in position to do anything about that. Wow, all the way back to 5 turns, huh? Alright. Keep making population happen. So we're definitely going to need to, at the very least, scout Purple a little bit. Can't have him become a new army because the tile is full. Alright, there we go. Well, it's a stack of perhaps mildly unimpressive units, but it's still a full stack. It's still something. Alright, finish the seed storage right after winter ends. Seems pretty solid. Let's go kill some Ursus. Hooray! We only managed to pick up 5 pearls there, and I'm kind of fine with it. So, where exactly do we want to settle? There's some taiga down here. There's a rocky field up there. So the taiga is in kind of a low food area. Or the life tree on top of the taiga. But it is a life tree. It is plus 10 approval. I mean, that's pretty significant. There's also some rumbling stones up here, which give a considerable amount of industry, and we could just, like, set up near the coast. If we settle around here somewhere, we can get the benefit of the geysers plus the river. It's hard to imagine it's wrong to put down near the life tree. I just don't like all of these two resource tiles. But, like, right here is not terrible. It's a little bit of a forward position on purple, but maybe that's okay. 6856 with approval. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be rough no matter how we do it. Again, not great at the farming. Not really our deal. Alright, so Salamar should be in a place to continue growing relatively solidly. It's not as solidly as I would like, frankly. Alright, yep, we know about the Urkins. You told us already. Alright. These Ursus Rumbler units, they can be a little bit of a nightmare. Fortunately, they only have 2 movement, and there's a lot of trees around here, so we can really just gang up on one of them and then fight the other one. Now, these ones have the stun capacity. This is only active when attacking, not counter-attacking, and they have 0 initiative. So not usually a problem. Usually the only problem is that they punch you very hard with their hands. Yeah, this is fine, I guess. So I want to make sure you're attacking from here. Well, yeah, because there's a cliff face there. So attack from the forest. You do that. This guy managed to start himself in a pretty secure initial position. So I might just have our hero rush the other one. Not a lot of our units are going to get to contribute on this. Actually, sorry. Yeah, moving forward is just going to be tough. I am vulnerable to the same problems that the that the Rumblers are in regards to movement speed over this terrain. Alright, but we're hacking them up, slowly but surely. Obviously, with a faction like the Necrophages, it feels a lot more significant if you get one of those early game pieces of, like, quest equipment. It can have a pretty powerful effect. Okay. Most of us took a small amount of beating. So I think we're going to hold on to that recycled stockpile to fire in the new city as quickly as possible. And there are more villages, apparently, or else we would have gotten a quest completion there. So let's go ahead and figure that out. I don't know what I want to build here yet. So, we're about to settle a new city. Let's go ahead and fire both of our boosters. And then, like I said, I think I am just gonna drop this. Let's get some development immediately here. Are we gonna try to save up for a hero? I mean, we're gonna get another eclipse pretty soon. What are hero prices doing right now? Almost up to 400. Alright, I'm going to try to stick it out. So, we did this. Now that the region is secure, build a glass steel extractor on the deposit in order to get the weapon. The weapon that you get from this, I'm pretty sure, is a crossbow, and as such, not actually usable by our current hero. So I am maybe not in a huge hurry on that. Oh, sure, build things in the capital. Why not? Why not? We could just build more military units. You know what we could do also is we could just spread really fast. As things are right now, we're not going to have any problem at all getting a decent empire plan. If we put down a third city, it's going to cost 60 influence to maintain the science bonus, which we can totally do. Yeah, maybe we just fast expand here. So, do we have an idea of where we would want to do that, though? We don't really. Vedra's got some stuff. We can see some anomalies here. There's a hidden spring. There's another life tree over there. You know, this region's interesting. There's a space where we could settle right here and get the benefit of the Rumbling Stones plus the exotics, which is a fair food and industry boost. I'm gonna do it. Let's get a manufacturing base going. So with the we are not quite able to maintain approval levels even with our luxuries popped. That is a shame. Also, big dense forest. Similarly a shame. Alright, so just straight up to 3 population again. Pretty solid. And there's all these minor faction units. We should definitely, as soon as we finish this up, we should bring the army back there and clear out that region of minor faction units. Villages, rather. Okay, here's another one for us. Also, it turns out our home region is quite a bit larger than I would have guessed. Oh man. There's a massive tree, and some escaped specimens, and some moss pearls. This is a very, very high anomaly region. These starting regions always are good, but... Wow, somebody entered Era 3 already. That's not so great. This is sea facility stuff. We're not even going to talk about it. We have no access to the ocean, so it's not worth thinking about. Okay, we are definitely going to want the open pit mine. All 3 of the legendary deeds from this era went to pink, huh? Well, now that's interesting. I'm a little concerned that one of the players is really off to the races here. Alright, hopefully this will be the last one. And we are going to go ahead and do it manually. So... I don't know that it matters too much how we position for this. Okay. So your job is to attack one of them. Your job is to attack the other one. Just absorb that counterattack damage as quickly as possible. Alright, there we go. Battleborn doing some... putting some actual effort in. Much appreciated. It's important when you've got the initiative advantage like this to make sure you're using it to keep people under control. Don't want people getting their counterattacks if you don't... Or you don't want people walking around if you don't have to let them walk around. You exert the control. Alright, easy. Still no quest completion, though. Wow, another Magte village. Wild. Also, a burning tree. Well, you know, one of those old dragon trees. That is cool. That is a pretty neat one. Alright. settler up, and at this point, Empire Mint into, like, extractors and stuff, probably. Do I want to just build over that? Kind of. We're not desperate for the resources, but I do kind of want to build over that. So that wouldn't get us a ton of extra resources. And I mean, we really want to be building out this way, right? But I guess we want to be doing that in such a way that we're leveling up our districts. So you know what? Yeah, we will go ahead and build over that. And you... So let's have a look here. Vetra's got exotic, or it's got moss pearls and chromatic land right there. So, like, this southern part of this region's not bad. It's not amazing. It's a lot of two resource tiles, but 2 anomalies right on top of each other is pretty powerful. We could try to settle down in the deserts to try to wall purple off. I mean, Irimda also has a lot of anomalies right next to each other, and they're close to a river. I actually think I like that better as a location for an actual city. Alright, so I mean, there's only 3 tiles left in Fog here. One of those tiles must be the remaining village. But how dare they? How dare they put so many villages on my plate here? So somebody finished the industrial megapole. Was it pink? It was. We need to find out what's going on with them. And there is a guardian roaming in Tykest. Tykest, I cannot imagine that being a place we know about already. Nope. We know where the Urkin is. That's interesting. Yep, you can see the little edges of an outbuilding here. Just tucked all the way in the furthest tile. What an incredibly annoying thing to do. How dare you, algorithm? And then we gotta run all the way back home. Well, you know what? Let's eat these Magte while we're walking past. It's easy enough to do. And in fact, I'm just gonna auto-resolve that one. We don't need to optimize this. That's an easy enough battle. Okay, we are going to have to watch out for the Gorin, because it is going to try to do stuff. This is a very annoying minor faction. A very frustrating little tribe. You know what? I'm not gonna optimize this one either. Okay, we took a little bit of damage, probably a little bit more than we would have taken if I had done it manually, but it's fine. Alright, hooray, 20 influence. Seeking revenge, and Ursa's army comes to attack your city at Salamar. They must be destroyed. I'm into that. I'm into the destruction of people who are trying to destroy me. So, we're talking about, like, right here, right? There's very little food, but it gives us 2 reasonable anomalies, and then we can expand out to the river or toward more anomalies pretty quickly. I suppose starting over here for river tiles plus 2 anomalies is not bad either, and then we can just expand sort of down this way. Oh hey, pearls. 6 pearls, in fact. So that's 3, 7, 9, 11. I mean, those are not great stats, but I'm not really in a place to turn down the dust. We could really use that dust. I guess this is the more sensible settle, though. Even if it doesn't get us the river quite as quickly. Yeah, alright. We could delay and buy an Empire plan before settling the third city, but I don't think it's worth losing the time on the population growth. We will be just fine on Empire plan. We gotta get back to Salamar in a semi-hurry. So yeah, I think we want to just go ahead and settle. And then I am going to hold off at this point. We got to be pretty close to the... we've got to be pretty close to the eclipse. So let's wait on that. We have the resources for an altar. We should definitely get an altar up. We want to have an altar. If I move people over to here... Yeah, we can... I don't think it's necessarily a big deal to slow roll the altar a little bit. For a focus on other stuff. Alright, we're doing okay on dust income. Obviously, the city could use some help with this stuff. It would be really nice if we could just pop this booster and get... Pop this stockpile, rather. And get the full benefit. So, you know, maybe the eclipse could hurry up and show up already. Alright, well, a mere 6 turns after somebody entered Era 3, we have now entered Era 2. Oh, you bastard. Just a little too fast. We got a lot of fighting to do over here. Yeah, that's really annoying, because I was working on something outside the city walls there. Do you want to build a husbandry center? If I'm going to be keeping people on food, probably. But yeah, we need to hook something up here to keep us from just wasting the industry, since we can't build our altar. Alright, so let's talk about this. Unique technologies. Cannon fodder dramatically reduces our military upkeep, while the Demanding Gods technology gives us the ability to burn a population point for a pretty large approval boost. I think it's fine. It's fine. I do not think that it is, by any means, our initial concern. The Proliferator here is incredibly powerful. That parasitism ability causes it to... it basically, like, when you hit somebody with the ranged attack from the Proliferator, it embeds the parasite, and then if that unit dies before the battle is over, it hatches into another Battleborn. So, obviously, getting a Proliferator or 2 per army early on is very powerful, because Battleborn are very powerful. But having a Proliferator around doesn't necessarily help you if you're not actually able to kill units in combat. So I'm sort of inclined to think that we want to go Alchemical Alloys as a way to spend the strategic resources that we have on hand here. And then we can worry about other stuff. Yeesh, that's a bad research rate. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit behind. Just a little tiny bit. Oh, hey. And it's eclipse time. Right, let's get over here quickly. Yeah. I know you can't build the thing. Also, somebody's got the ability to turn an army invisible, so we get plus detection range for a minute. We will have at you next turn. We'll spawn a Battleborn in Irimda next turn as well. Very annoying stuff, Ursus. I do really appreciate the very large number of temple ruins in our starting area. I think it's very nice. Okay. So, yep, the boosters have run out. There's nothing we can do about that. I think we can probably just auto-resolve that battle. Triumph! Tonight the hive will reek of the dead, but we will spare some. One hindlegs, a traveler and fire wielder, has learned our language, and stokes my curiosity with wild ideas. How would a person who is not a necrophage even manage to speak a language that has that much mandible in it? Sweet, sweet, sweet flesh. The nest thrums with fevered dreams, with faith, with belief. The workers scuttle with extra fervor, the groomers with purpose, the soldiers with mandibles high. The tunnels resound with the click and scratch of anticipation. Now is the time to hatch more plans. To be a race who can command the surface as we command the dark, we must evolve. The hind legs calls himself Ris al-Khali and tells me he is a scientist, one who studies the ways of things. His quest for knowledge has led him far from his birth race, and he has roved the surface of this great land, learning much. I led him through the teeming hive, hoping to awe him, even frighten him, but his eyes sparkle with glee. He speaks of strange chemistries, and wishes to study how hindlegs and necrophage differ. He teases me with ideas of a superior breed, marrying the best of both races. The other captives are more afraid of him than me. I don't trust him, but he may be a great boon to us. To begin his experiments, he needs special materials. I will ensure he gets them, and I will watch carefully. So, tier 3 weapons tech. Well, now that's interesting. I'm a little torn on whether I think that's actually better than tier 2 weapons tech. I mean, obviously the equipment you get from it is better, but it's also much, much more expensive. So, I almost want to just finish researching alchemical alloys anyway. We probably shouldn't. We should probably just increase our rate of income and then use our very fancy weapons. I mean, that's a cool quest reward. So search those temple ruins. And we need 5 gold. Okay, yes, we do have a source of gold. That's not a completely unfair thing to ask for, then. I think we're going to just have our hero warp over here. Like, let's go to Auriga, do this thing, and then do it again? If we're going to do it again, do we want it there? Do we want it in the capital, maybe? No, let's do it up here. We'll just push really hard on that. Set y'all up. Move you over here. Warp feeds on bones. And then, come on, huge amount of dust. Okay, good start. Oh, right. This is locked by that quest now. Alright, well, we can come over and grab this one real quick. And this army can just run around here and do other stuff. So we got some good growth out of that. We have a pretty solid population for turn 39, I think. And we are definitely past the hour, but let's go until we lock in our second Empire plan. And I am going to change our tech. Let's not research this anymore. So what's next? I mean, obviously roads are cool. Jam more units into your army is pretty cool. Like, maybe we should go for Alchemy Workshop, given how bad our research is. Honestly, maybe. Our science output is bad, and we need to fix that. Then again, you know, we don't have libraries up in 2 of the cities yet. Maybe it'll turn out not to be so grim. And we do need to be able to devour players. It would be nice to eat purple. We are desperate for military technology, though. Alright, I'm going to focus on this first. We have a really bad, really bad rate of science income. It's got to get fixed. Also, it's looking to me like even with some good dust income here, we're not going to get where we're going. A two-handed sword. Interesting. I don't know if our hero can use two-handed swords. No, we are a one-handed sword or two-handed axe or claw type hero. That's a shame. So yeah, I think it's just too damned expensive to hire heroes as things are now, so I guess we'll just spend the dust on other stuff. Like getting wine extractors up. So we have access to 2 wine extractors, right? And then over here we're going to need that gold as well, although it doesn't feel like that's necessarily the most important thing in the universe. Here, let's get that. We do want to make that happen. And then we're gonna reposition some people a little bit. I do love food, but we're just gonna have to. Once we get enough wine income that we have a wine booster running frequently, I'm gonna feel a lot better about our situation. Yeah, we'll keep you on that. Do we want to move everybody over to, like... I really want to get the wine going. The wine is plus 30% approval. It is very, very significant. Alright, keep grabbing pearls, and... Yes, let's set that empire plan. So... I mean, obviously that's compelling. We can just take this and boost our economy from slightly negative to slightly positive. I don't know exactly how many units we're going to build, so it's hard to know if this is worthwhile. Maybe we just hold on to the influence. That would have been 180. That would not have been trivial to get a hold of. I'm going to just bank it, I think. Be the first to have 30 units at the same time. Oh, purple. The person right on our border, who now has a massive health regen bonus. 30 units. It's turn 40. They've completed a unit the majority of the turns in the game. Like, pretty significantly the majority. That's a little scary. Maybe we're not going to be able to fight them. I was figuring once we had the tier 3 arms tech, we can maybe just, like, get in there and overwhelm them. But that's very bad news. So I think that's where we're going to call it for today. Thank you all so much for watching. We did turn the difficulty up, and I did not have the fastest start ever, so, like I was saying, it is still possible that we are just going to get dunked on pretty badly here, and I'm going to have to do a better job with my opening. So when you come back next time tomorrow, we may well find out whether or not that is the case here. And we'll see you then.